So I tell everybody the best player is named Magic Larry Bird Johnson.
Never drink beer with Larry Bird. It's going to end badly. It's going to end badly.
And goes, don't take this butt whooping personally. I've been eating hot dogs all day.
He was the coldest dude I ever seen with that shit.
And I just remember him turning around saying, "You little piece of..."
He didn't run fast. He didn't jump high. But when Larry Bird stepped on that court, he owned the game and your soul with nothing but skill, swagger, and savage trash talk. To some, he was just the hick from French Lick. To those who faced him, he was a psychological assassin with a jump shot. In this video, NBA legends like Gary Payton, John Sally, Kevin McHale, Byron Scott, and more reveal the unfiltered, unbelievable, and often hilarious stories of getting cooked, not just by Bird's game, but by his mouth. So sit back, buckle up, and witness why Larry Legend wasn't just one of the greatest players of all time. He was the undisputed king of trash talk, and the NBA will never see another like him.
So who was the one guy you're like, all right, I respect his mouth? Was it Jordan?
Ooh, Larry Bird. Shoot, by far. Larry Bird. Larry Bird will tell you where he wanted to go. He'll shoot it in your face. He'll tell you, I'll give you a Christmas present. Open up this jumper. And then if he tell you, listen, one time we was playing in the Boston Garden and Xavier McDaniel was guarding, and him and Xavier got into it. And, because how Xavier was. And Xavier kept getting on him. And he said, you know what? I'm gonna hit 3-4 jumpers in a row all net. If I don't do it, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a problem, and I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna do it. And next thing you know, they were blowing us out, and he went out, and all of a sudden Xavier was still in the game, and we still had it. Casey Jones still has had us in the game. And next thing you know, I look up at the shot clock, and Larry Bird coming back in. Like, what? And then all of a sudden he walked over to our bench. He said, I told Xavier that what I was going to do to him, and I didn't do it, so I had to come back in and do it. And as soon as he got the ball, they gave him the ball 3 times. He hit 3 jump shots all net. Then he walked by our bench. He said, I told you what I'm going to do, and I'm always going to do it. And he looked at Xavier, and he said, didn't I tell you what I was going to do? And then he walked out, man.
And X-Man wasn't no soft dude either.
No, he was not.
Xavier wasn't soft, man. And Larry wasn't either, man. Larry said, man, I'm gonna give it to you any way I want to. 1 dribble, 2 dribbles, step back, and then I'm gonna hit it. And I was like, this dude real cold, man.
Bird talk shit, like we talk.
Let me tell y'all something. Bird used to tell me, look here, man. I'm gonna go shoot this motherfucking jumper in your face right there in that corner. And it's gonna be your Christmas present. I'm gonna wrap it up and bust your head open. All that shit. He was the coldest dude I ever seen with that shit, man. Everybody be talking about these greats. They'll be always mentioning him. He was the shit.
Yeah.
The shit, man. He'll give it to you any way he wanted to. Any way he wanted to. Larry Bird was cold. Cold dude, man. Real cold.
Never drink beer with Larry Bird. It's going to end badly. It's going to end badly. I still don't know how I got to my hotel room. But my favorite Larry Bird story.
I know how you got there.
Yeah, okay. My favorite Larry Bird story is it's an all-star game. I forget what city it's in. And I'm sitting there with one of my teammates, Leon Wood, it was a great 3-point shooter. Larry Bird comes in last. He says, hey, which one of you guys going to come in second? And it was just like y'all did right there. It was so quiet. And after that, I said, oh man, these guys ain't got no chance.
Back then when we flew commercial, we didn't fly private. We played in a Tuesday night game in Cleveland. And of course, we got up for the first flight out. We had a game on Wednesday night in New Jersey. Snowstorm hits Cleveland. We're at the airport at 7 in the morning. Flight's canceled at 7. It's canceled at 8. It's canceled at 9. It's canceled at 10. Canceled at 11, 12. We finally leave about 1:30 or 2 in the afternoon. We fly up to New Jersey. Now the storm has kind of moved into Jersey. And the bus driver says, well, I can't get to the hotel into the arena. I can only go to one place. Well, we had a game that night. We go to the arena. So we get to the arena, and I mean, we're dragging. And we're sitting on the locker room, and, and everybody's kind of, we're tired, and, and all of a sudden, the coach gives a little bit of a speech of, come on, man, guys, we're playing basketball. Let's get ready to go. And Larry stands up, and Larry says, a couple other few choice words, and he says, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to take it out on their rear ends. So I was like, oh, all right, so let's go. So we go on the floor. Albert King sitting there. Larry walks up to Albert King and goes, don't take this butt whooping personally. I've been eating hot dogs all day. And then Albert King looks at him like, you've been eating hot dogs all day? What's that got to do with me? And we went out and just hammered him. I mean, we terrorized them. And that was Larry. There was no excuses. I mean, he just played. And I tell you, that was just his competitive nature. But a day when you fly all day and eat hot dogs in the airport, best thing was Albert's look on his face like, what hot dogs got to do with me?
Larry Bird was like a Magic Johnson, or a Magic Johnson was like a Larry Bird. They try to add something new every year. They work harder than the rest of them. When practice is over, you could see Larry Bird out there every day, shooting for another 20 minutes, another half hour. If he didn't get enough running, he'd do some laps. He would just work hard. But above all, he was the most highly self-motivated athlete I ever was connected with. Larry Bird was. Forget the fact that he plays hurt. I saw him one day with a foot that if it was me, I'd be in bed. It was all shiny and infected. He had the doctor come in, cut it, put a bandage on, he went out and played. Unbelievable. He didn't have to play, but that's how those great ones are.
We were playing against him, and I think I stole the ball from him. And I just remember him turning around saying, you little piece of and I was like, that, to me, that was Larry Bird. And I was so happy because I'm like, that Larry Bird told me you're a little piece of you know what I'm saying? Like, because I idolized Larry Bird. I called me a piece of
Now, our back line at one time it was Kelly Tripucka, Bill Laimbeer, Ken Benson. 3 white dudes.
2 of them I ain't ever heard of.
Okay. All right. So we walk out on the court, and he said, who guarding me? And I said, well, hey, you know, we both from Indiana, we talking stuff. Me and his mom had a close relationship in college. His mom would write me like notes, was even writing me notes like when I was in the pros, like, you know, good luck, everything else, right? So Larry used to always call me Cheesy, right? He's like, Cheesy, who guarded me? And I was like, you know, I got Kelly, I got Lamb, I got Benson. He's like, you ain't got no brothers? He's like you? He's like you?
Disrespecting me.
That's what he said.
Straight up.
That's exactly what he said. He said, hey man, you can't put no white dude on me.
Hey,
that is straight disrespect, right? He said, don't put no white dude on me. So check this out. So the next year we come back, I said, I got somebody for your ass, right?
Yeah.
He said, who you got? I said, Robin. He said, okay, he's a little better. He said, but don't ever put no white dude on me because that is disrespectful.
Like Isiah told a story, he was like, he said, you put this white dude on me? He goes, you gonna offend me like that? Like, and we'd be like, what? Like, what happened? He was like him, like he's the blackest white dude you want to see. They can get you a taxi, but then they get in the car and speak like you, and the taxi driver's like, I was snubbed.
You need friends like that.
You need friends
those.
like that.
You need those.
Larry was, when I watch it, and the difference between Larry and Luka, because somebody tried to tell me that, is Larry played defense. Larry played defense, and Larry was so smart and he never missed. I've never seen him miss. And I get in, Chuck Daly has me starting one time, and Larry looks around and goes, what's up, Sal? I said, nah. He goes, you on me? I said, yeah, I got size on you right now. I've been watching every movie. He goes, y'all not double teaming? And he's looking around. He goes, yo. I go, nah, it's just me, fella. He goes, mouse in the house. Mouse in the house. And they change the play, and he catches the ball. He does this, and he shoots it. He says, Sal, you better ask for a double team, bro.
Please, let's not forget how incredible Bird and the Celtics were in their prime. I said, they were almost impossible to go in there and beat. And they said, why? I said, because you could not make a mistake with them. If you turn your head or you don't rotate right on time or whatever it was, those guys made you play, and it was him. Like he was a savant on the court, like just a savant, like 2 plays ahead on everything. And so I was just talking about this maybe 3 or 4 days ago, how hard it was to go into Boston and beat a team when Bird is in his prime.
And then you had the inbounds pass that Bird steals that.
That goes back to my savant statement. Like just knowing where to be, seeing what's happening, and anticipating, and boom, he jumps right in and steals the ball.
You probably know this, Dan, but Larry Bird was one of the biggest trash talkers in basketball. And a lot of people say, really? You know, they thought it was Reggie or Charles. Larry Bird talked more trash on the basketball court than anybody I've ever played against. And he told me 2 things one game. You know, our rotations, double teaming Kevin McHale, always had to rotate to the corner, and Larry Bird was the one shooting it. You know, so he shot one, and I mean, I'm trying to block this shot, and he would just tell me, Scott, you're a little too late. You know, a little too late. So we playing him, and the last play, he says to James Worthy, he says, you guys don't have to worry about it. I'm going to go right over there that corner. He said, they're going to set a screen for me. We're taking the ball out. He said, I'm going to curl right over. And he's telling us to play. He's telling us to play before they even take it out. He said, I'm going to go right over to that corner, and I'm going to catch it, and I'm going to shoot it, and I'm going to tie the game or win the game, whatever the case may be. They take the ball out, and I think it was either Danny or DJ, the late, great DJ.
Yeah.
Take the ball out, the man curl right to the corner, caught the shot, shot a 3,
and
game over. It's like, are you effing kidding me?
After Boston that night, he had some knee pain. I was like, it's a hell of a time for you to come over with a knee pain. I look at the boy, Shawn Kemp, Larry Bird, I'm like, so I look in the mirror, I'm like, well, shit, man, I'm about to get this one fits out here tonight. So before the game, I was over there rubbing my hands, looking at him like, I'm about to get your ass, man.
What year was this for you?
This was my first year.
Oh, okay.
And that day, that morning they came out with a USA Today article, and they said that Larry didn't have it no more. So he came out that night to make a statement, and I was just the prime candidate to be.
Yeah.
Before the game, he told me, he was like, he just shook his head at me. He said, man, it's going to be a up night for you.
So what did he put up?
I think he gave me 46 and 3.
What'd you do?
Man, I hadn't found out, but I was on his ass. I'm gonna tell y'all this, man. I'm gonna tell you this, man. I was on. He was actually calling out bank shots. He would say, next time, bank shot left side. I'm gonna pump fake you. Your dumb ass gonna go for it.
He would tell you that, and it happened.
And I said, first of all, I'm gonna be so close to you. If you shoot the ball next time, I'm gonna try to rip your arm off your shot. And what you think he did, man? A quick pump fake, dog, and you go for that shit here.
Got you.
Man, come on, man.
Thoughts on 2 contemporaries. Bird.
Larry, I think Larry's the epitome of what I saw myself walking away from the game and getting out of the spotlight. You don't see much of Larry now. I think that's something that he chose.
Back in Indiana and cool at it.
Which isn't bad. I like that. I really admire him for doing that.
It was 8 of us. It was myself, Bobby Hurley, Allen Houston, Chris Webber, Rodney Rogers, Eric Montrose.
Shout out Rodney Rogers, man. Shout out to OG.
Yeah. And Grant Hill was on that squad. So we get to La Jolla, San Diego, and we check into the Marriott. We go up to our floor, and we're walking in the corridor, and we see this tall white guy coming down the hall. And I'm like, damn, that looked like Larry Bird. So Larry Bird coming down the hallway, me and Chris Webber, and Larry Bird, you don't realize how big Larry Bird is until you stand up close to Larry Bird.
Exactly.
Larry Bird, legit 6'10".
Real talk.
Rodney Rogers says something it's a group of them. It's Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and everybody's shooting the shit. And Rodney Rogers said, hey, Larry, you ain't hit a jumper since 84. Magic heard that shit. And we ain't think none of it. The next day we came in, and I never seen this. And this one I was like, this is a different breed. Magic Johnson fed Larry Bird the ball probably about 8 times in a row down court. Larry Bird got the ball on Rodney Rogers, and every time he was about to make a move, he told him what he was going to do. 1 dribble, pull up, going left, off glass. One dribble going right, spin, shot, bucket.
He went like this. All of a sudden, Rodney Rogers flies by in slow motion, and he's like, "Welcome to the Parachute Club." Wow.
He scored 9 times or 8 times in a row, left the court to go lay down because he couldn't sit on the bench. He had to lay down because of his back. And said, "Young fella, look like 84, huh?"
The best guy I played against might have been, Larry Bird, someone like that.
How good was
Michael
Bird?
Jordan.
I don't think people
don't
look at
appreciate
him and think,
they
oh, he's
said,
a white guy,
he's
slow guy.
a chubby white guy. He wore us out, man. Because he just, this muscle here, the one between his ears, that was his best, because he made the 3-pointers and he had assists and rebounded, steals. He was always at the right place at the right time on the court. One of the great players, I had the opportunity to play.
Driving and I'm listening to a game. It's New Mexico State playing Indiana State. I don't really care about the game, but New Mexico State is right up the streets from El Paso, and I went to UTEP. And we're big rivalries, so I'm hoping that Indiana State will beat New Mexico State. And I'm listening to the radio, and I have no clue of the players on either team. All of a sudden, this name keeps coming. Bird. He goes to the right. Bird. He makes the shot. Bird. I said, God damn, who is Bird? Bird. Here's Bird. And Bird this. And Bird. Oh, did you see the pass that Bird made? I can't see it, but I'm just trying to imagine it. And when the time I got to the end, I said, damn, that brother can play. Damn, that brother. Hey, I'm gonna tell you something. When I got the newspaper the next morning and saw Larry's picture, I said, damn.
And I know a lot of you young folks may not really remember Larry Bird that well, but that man was a magician. And he was amazing. And he was 6'9", and he had the skill set of a guard. He wasn't that fast. He wasn't that great of an athlete, but he had the heart of a lion. And so playing against him was kind of my real first taste of, man, I want to do that. Right, I want to compete against that every day. That's the kind of thing that's going to make you a monster. And there were a lot of great players. I mean, make no mistake, I faced a lot of great players every day, but I think when I came into the league, Larry Bird was at his peak. And he was incredible at what he did. And he was humble, and he came to work every single day. And I admired that. And so I think he was my favorite to play against, particularly early in my career.
Rick, you played in some amazing games that you won. You played in some amazing games you lost. The one I'm going to talk to you about is a game that I thought you guys had when you had the Celtics all but beat, and Larry Bird steals the ball. Because I remember you running down the sideline, punching your fist because you guys had made the steal and you thought it was over.
No, what happened was I was running down the sideline shaking my arm because I caused the turnover.
Yes.
It was like, yeah, we got him. So I'm looking at the bench. I'm looking at Chuck Daly, and Chuck was calling timeout. But Isiah, we talked about this on another show, Isiah ran. I'm usually the one taking it out to give to Isiah, but he ran and grabbed the ball. He had, a brain fart, and he threw it in, and that's when it was like, oh, hell no. But that was game 5, and we going like, what, you're looking at it, we Zeke, and we talk, it's like, Zeke, why you take the damn ball out? That's my job. That's what I do.
Stay in your lane, bro. Stay in your lane.
I'm trying to get the ball to you. Man, once he stole it, it was like, it took the wind out of our sail. But we had to win that game 6.
Out of bounds. Who's got it? Detroit ball with 5 seconds to go. Thomas wants to get it in quickly. Does to Lambier. Stolen by Bird on the cut to DJ. Yes! Yes, and a foul!
But the thing was, I did a great defensive play on Bird. And it was like it went right off Larry. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, I was excited about I beat him up because here's the thing. Before I beat him up, man, Brad, I remember when I switched out on him and he yelled out, "Hey, Mahorn, you on me?" And I hate when somebody call me Mahorn. That looking at me with that old shiftless shit grin. And Bird went like, "You on me? Clear." I said, "All right, okay." I said, "I'm gonna get you," and that right there made me going like, "Yeah, I finally got him," because he, he's a bad boy.
Well, I think it was 86, 87. So we were playing Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. So they gave me the task of guarding Larry Bird. Guarding Larry Bird. I'm like this 25-year-old rookie in the league. They said, "Dennis, you have to guard him." And I'm like, guard him. So that was my whole job, to guard the toughest guy on the team, on the other teams. So, so I'm guarding him. And every time I turn my head, he's over there in the 3-point line. He said, "I'm over here, Rook." I'm like, I got to go out there and run out there like a dumbass. Let's go out there, try to contest him. He'll hit the three. I'm like, okay.
He talked trash against us, talked trash with against everyone else. But the difference is he could back it up. I remember, like I was saying, growing up in Boston, people all used to always talking about that he can't jump, he can't do this, he can't do that. And, a lot of my friends was like that, So, I got to the league. I called all my friends back up. I said, all that trash that you were talking, you need to squash all that. This man is great. He can, whatever you were saying for a man who can't jump, he's demolishing everybody.
It was 91-92 season. And we was playing the Boston Celtics. It was Bird, McHale, Parish, the great three, Ainge, and we was up 1. Mm-hmm. Okay. He said, "Who's guarding me?" As we come out of timeout. Now remember, I'm a rookie because Price is out because he hurt.
Right.
He says, "Who's guarding me?" I says, "Craig Elo." He says, "Why you got that white boy on me? Don't put no white boy on me."
He said that was the most.
Now remember, Larry Bird is white.
Right.
He said, "I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna get in the corner. Dennis Johnson gonna pass it to me and I'm gonna hit." I told Joe Wicker, I said, "Hey man, listen, the ball is going to Larry Bird. Everybody knows the ball's going to Larry Bird. Right. Just do whatever you can. Craig, Gerald, just cover him."
Right.
All Bird did was go like this. See, it's leverage. It's not how strong you are sometimes. It's leverage.
Yeah.
Now, look how hard that is.
Yeah.
Now, somebody strong go, yeah. Right?
Right. Right.
You see how your demeanor went? That's all I need, TB.
Right.
Another
That
ball.
space to catch the ball. Yeah.
And his fingers was all broke.
Right.
He hit the shot. All his McHale, all them, Randy Whitman, all them were jumping on, right? He was getting them off of him like this. He walked off and said, "Legend."
You know what? It's funny because I tell a whole lot of people this when they talk about great players and they bring up Larry Bird. I said, listen, the dude couldn't jump, wasn't fast, but wasn't athletic. Mm-hmm. But you look on the score, the score sheet after the game, he got 25, 15 rebounds, 9 assists, a few steals. I said, the dude just knew how to play, right? And the thing that I loved about him is that he was a shit talker. And I wish you would have got a chance to play against him, Robert, because I swear to God, you'd have loved playing against him because the dude would just tell you where he's going, shoot it in your face, talk shit to you, and run back down the floor.
Yeah.
And he was just one of those guys that, he just had it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he had it, and I saw it in college, and obviously saw it a whole lot closer when we get a chance to play against the Celtics. He was the biggest trash talker back in the day, but he would back it up.
Did you have any moments with Larry Bird where he would trash talk you?
Yeah, he just looked at me my rookie year and just said, you can't stop me. And I said, I know. There's nothing else to say. You're Larry Bird. and I got that kind of, seasoning from Magic Johnson too, because I was right there in town. I should see him at grocery stores around LA and, at the gas station sometimes, or we were all going into practice because we practiced at the same practice site at Loyola Marymount back in those days. And Magic would just come up to me and talk to me and then turn around and kick my butt. I said, I didn't know which one I like. I like the quiet Bird kick your butt thing, then Magic shaking your hands. I'm going at you, right?
The gentleman you just talked about, Larry Bird.
Oh shit, that's the man. Shit, he's like your Magic, your Kareem. That once in a lifetime player, franchise changing player. That's the category that Larry was in, and not to mention, I like the way he led us as a team. He wasn't in your face, that talking trash to you. He led by example. No matter how poorly you was playing, Coop, he never got on you. Only thing he would say to you, try to pick it up if you can. You had one of them nights when things just not going your way. He always spoke, with encouragement. He never tried to put players down, and I always respected that about Larry.
He wasn't a trash talker?
Oh, to other players.
Okay.
My
Bob, give us a
goodness.
couple of stories of him talking trash.
I was gonna say,
my goodness. One thing you got to give Larry Bird, he could be red hot or ice cold. He never stopped talking trash. Ever. Ever.
I got one, Coop.
Great story. Playing the Phoenix Suns, and their main man was Tom Chambers, and Chambers was guarding Larry.
Larry Bird with a left-handed hook. Watch how he comes up on the other side. Two-handed McHale the rebound to Bird. Nice. Back to Parish. Nice. Pick and roll.
And so in the jump ball circle, Larry walked through myself and Chambers, and then came back and told Chambers, I know you guarding me, and I want you to know something. There's only one man that can guard me, and that's God. Now think about that for a second. Think about the confidence and the arrogance it takes to make that statement. Think about that for a second.
Hey, Rob, let me ask you this one. There's a story going around where Casey Jones was drawing up a play, and you guys were all in the huddle, and I guess he was having a hard time saying it. Larry told him, hey, give me the ball, and the rest of you guys get the hell out the way. Is that true?
The story behind that, Kevin was the one that had the hot hand. But as we all know, Larry's the man, and that's Larry's team. So Larry should take the first shot. But KC was torn between drawing up something for Kevin because he had the hot hand and not offending Larry. So Larry just took the F over. Draw up a play for me and give me the ball and get out of my way. And that was the end of the X and O's.